This is Call Me Donovan, episode 42, recorded Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. I think I'll just skip with the intro music because this episode, this is a sad one. You'll recall in my previous episode, which was actually yesterday, I mentioned that we have an older cat. His name is Tashi. He's the oldest of the remaining cats, and he's the only one left inside. At one point, over the years, we had a total of 3 cats inside. And yeah, that was an adventure. We had Shade, we had Gracie, and we had Tashi. Shade was the first to pass away. And then we rotated Gracie outside because she was just a wild child, if you will. And oddly enough, she seemed to really enjoy and thrive being outside. So that was good, but unfortunately one day we had not seen her in a little bit, and she loved to climb and just hang out in trees. I mean, this cat, she wound up, there was something that went through the cats out, the remaining cats that were outside at the time, and it messed with their vision, and she actually lost one of her eyes. So she was basically like a pirate. Small little brown fuzzy thing that kept gnawing her hair, but she loved to get up in trees and just hang out on branches. And I'm thinking, I can't even get up in a tree and hang out on a branch, and I still have both my eyes. But one day we were outside, and we were like, "Have you seen Gracie?" And I'm like, "No." So I just happened to walk around, and we were on the deck, and happened to walk around and found her laying there, and I don't entirely know what happened, but we dropped Tashi off at the vet yesterday. My wife and my daughter did, because he, as I mentioned previously, was having bowel movement issues. I mean, he basically could not shit. And they did the x-ray, and they discovered that the old boy was impacted severely, fecal impactment. It happens to humans too. But his was so bad that it was starting to interfere with his other organs. So he needed to stay overnight, and they were going to basically give him some stuff to try to soften it up, maybe even an enema and all of that. And, we hoped for the best. But this morning around 8 o'clock, I guess, my wife's phone rings, and she puts it on speakerphone, and the lady on the other end, now I don't know if that was the vet or if it was the lady at the front, but the vet is Dr. Hill. She's a veterinarian in Ocilla, Georgia. Today was the first day I actually met her. Very nice. But they called to let us know that Tashi did not make it through the night, that he had started responding. He had actually eaten a little bit, but this morning, no, he had not made it through the night. And of course, I wound up having to finish the phone call because my wife burst into tears, and I mean, she did her best. She tried to hold it together, but I finally just had to tell the person on the other end of the phone, "Thank you. We'll be over there shortly, and we appreciate you." And of course, then my wife had the task of going upstairs and letting our daughter know. So we went over there, and we got him. He's got they gave us 2 little mementos. They did his little paw prints. And he was swaddled up, in like a blanket type thing. And Oriana had texted Tyler, and Tyler had let Devin know, because Devin really doesn't pay attention that much to our family chat, that Tashi had passed away. But first, Oriana had texted Tyler to say, "Hey, when you wake up, let me know," because she wanted to call him. So she did. And we've got this particular tree. It's actually been nicknamed the graveyard tree. And keep in mind, we're in the South. So as the ones that passed away were where they passed away, where we could get to them, they have been buried around this tree. They've been put in a box, any kind of little keepsakes or whatever we wanted to put with them. They were buried around the tree. So it's nicknamed the graveyard tree. It's a Bradford pear tree. I hate the damn thing, and one day it's going to come down. But for now, and ever since we've lived here, since 2006, it's known as the graveyard tree. So I told Oriana to ask Tyler if he wanted to be, even though he's in Washington, he's in Seattle, if he wanted to be a part of us laying Tashi to rest. And he did. So I set the tripod up, got my phone, and did a signal video call. And so he was able to watch me work my ass off to dig this basically 3 foot by 3 foot by 1 foot hole to lay Tashi to rest in. And he's in a box. It's an Amazon box, but, he's in a box. He's got a plastic bag, which is something he always loved to chew on, and a couple other, I think we had these collars that none of them really took to wearing, so he would play with it. So it's in there. He had this little fluffy ball Oriana put in there. And so, 15 years old, and we have two outdoor cats that are part of the crew. They're the quick story is I used to, and I think I've mentioned this before, but we used to joke that we bought a cat and the house came with the cat because there was this cat that my wife, I guess she's the one that named her Musy. She was around the house. And of course, she got pregnant, and then she got pregnant again. And I think she may have had 3 litters. I'm not sure. And that's the reason why I wound up fixing, spayed or neutered 18 to 20 cats at one point. I did lose my sanity there, I'm pretty sure. But we only have 2, Josie and OJ. And OJ is actually named because we had a cat out of one of the litters named Oscar. And so OJ is named for Oscar Jr., so we just call him OJ. No, he does not. He's not orange. He doesn't look like orange juice or anything like that. It's just OJ. And then we have Josie. And then we have this black cat with the white markings that almost look like a tuxedo. He took up with us a year or so ago. I used to run him off all the time, and then finally I just gave up because our sunroom, we don't actually use our sunroom for us. The sunroom is used for the cats. One of the windows is held up so that they can come in and get out of the weather. That's also where all the food is. And they just, they'll hang out in there. So eventually I gave up trying to run him away. I was like, well, the crew's dwindling. If he wants to hang around, what's one more mouth to feed, I guess. He's still skittish of me. Most of the time he runs from me, but he's fine with Lee and Oriana. So that's what we have now. We have no indoor animals anymore. And my wife was talking to a friend and former boss of hers, letting him know, or I guess texting maybe. And he said, well, the best way to fix that is you immediately get another pet. And my wife is like, no, that's you got to have time to grieve. You got to have time to mourn. And that's disrespectful to the memory of the pet that you just lost. And I said, yeah, I agree with you. Plus, a little selfish part of me is I'd like to reclaim my house because the cats over the years have done so much damage. All my carpets have to be replaced in the house, every damn bit of it, because of either throwing up or mainly just that, throwing up. We had one cat that used to urinate on the carpet all the time. So, yeah, I probably have about $20,000 or $30,000 worth of repairs that need to take place. And plus, when and if we ever get to that point, we're not going to put down carpet again in all areas. Some places may have carpet that still have carpet. They have carpet now, and some places will have some kind of a different type of flooring. But needless to say, today has not been an easy day. And on top of that, I've got these 5 PCs that I'm trying to get ready to go for one of my clients, and I'm trying to image their older machines onto these newer machines because I don't want to go through the hassle of trying to get all the software reinstalled. And it's a difference between an MBR style and a UEFI style, or I should say a legacy boot versus an EFI boot. And that's been fun. And at one point, I had it working. Everything seemed to be working great. I rebooted, and it all blew apart. So that's the reason why I'm doing the imaging for like the 4th or 5th time. And I said, this takes about 20 minutes. Fuck it. I'm going to sit down and record this episode and let you know that Tashi, I think it's Rainbow Bridge. So I like to think that I'm stoic most of the time. But, this was the cat that I wished for. And I'm going to miss the dude. I mean, 15 years. He was more than a pet. If you have animals, you know, part of the family. And I honestly never thought that I'd be that kind of guy. You know, I was raised by, especially a father who in my younger days would have been the type that if some stray dogs or stray cats or something just showed up and a cat wound up having litters, those cats and the mother and the young kittens would wind up in a sack somewhere in a river. As he got older and Mom wound up getting her first indoor dog and all of that changed. But yeah, it's rough. Like I said, I'm going to miss the dude. And I know it's rough for Oriana. It was like her child. You know, she's expressed to me that she's probably going to be one of these Zoomers that her children are going to be pets. She doesn't really care about getting married. She definitely doesn't care about having kids. She's just going to have pets. And for the longest time, as I said before, he hung out up there in her room. The litter box was upstairs. We just, in the last month or so, moved the litter box downstairs because he started hanging out down here because of, we're presuming, arthritis. At least that's what the vet said. So, if you're a pet owner, got a furry family member, do me a favor, hug them, give them some treats. Tell them you love them because you just never know how much longer they got. I mean, we knew he was older. We discovered when we took him to the vet back in February that he had a kidney disease, that he was living on borrowed time or a short amount of time anyway. We just didn't expect it to be this year, this week, this day. But I guess now he does have an opportunity to find out what the answer to life, the universe, and everything actually is. He wasn't much for fish. He loved chicken, and he loved hamburger. So, Tashi, thank you for being the cool cat that you were. All right, that's all I got. Till next time, take care.